Ladies and gentlemen, Cheryl Cran. Get her up here, guys. She is a rock star.
So when you look at disruption, 40% of today's Fortune 500 companies will be gone in the next 10 years. Now, this research is actually Peter Diamandis, Singularity University. I actually attended the Exponential Innovation course at the beginning of December in Mountain View, and a lot of his research corroborates what Stefan was saying about the dystopian future with technology versus we get to create the future. One of the things, my next book called Next Mapping, is that you create the future. The best way to create the future is to map it. Not this, everybody else controls our future. That's buying into that we have no control. Well, that's completely ridiculous. As long as we take control and say, I can control the future, I decide if the technology is going to destroy or improve, I decide if I'm going to make the world a better place, that's where we are and that's where we're going. And fearmongers want us to believe that we don't have the control. And that's where we have to be hyper vigilant and saying, okay, the disruptions that are happening, how can I use those as evolutionary opportunities? The pace of ongoing disruption is causing many of us to be more stressed. It's causing many of us to go, well, wait a second, we were doing this over here. Now we have to pivot and do this over here. What is the solution to that fast pace of change? It's how we reorganize ourselves individually in order to be leaders that inspire others to go with the disruptions that are going to continue. The disruptions are not going away. We know this. We live in a globally volatile reality. We live in a constant threat to security. We live in a constant environment of having to adapt and be agile to people, situations, and processes. That's what a transformational leader sees and does, is it's not about just success for the sake of success, it's transforming people, it's transforming the company, it's transforming the world. And that leads me to the way we're all shifting our thinking. As technology continues to upgrade, as every time we get a new iOS upgrade and we upgrade it, every time we get anything new in technology, I don't know if you've noticed this psychologically, but have you noticed that you have to upgrade your own personal operating system, the way you think? And otherwise, if we don't shift the way we think or we don't see things in a new way, we're going to continue to react because we're going to want things to stay a certain way. Now, you're already change leaders. I talk about this in my book, The Art of Change Leadership, that change leaders are already looking to the future as their touch point. Future of work is your touch point. But what I'm talking about here is having a way to test ourselves to say, right now, am I thinking in a future of work, which is the learn, share level, way, or am I resorting to human pushback, human survival reaction way? So it's just a way for you to sort of think differently as you move forward. This slide here is about the technology impact and what it's doing for different industries. If you take a look at the one with the gentleman holding the silver beam, that's actually an exoskeleton. It's Japanese technology, and this technology is an exoskeleton that goes over the body. It can be male, female, can wear this, and it increases the strength of the person wearing it to the strength of 10 men. Which means in the manufacturing industry, that now where they've lost people because of retirement age or because they, young people would rather wear an exoskeleton than actually lift heavy things, right? The millennials, they love technology, not necessarily labor work, and that's just the nature of where things are progressing as technology innovates. So what that's done, though, is rather than take away jobs, it's actually enhanced the work life of the manufacturers, because now we've got more people that can do more work more effectively, and the exoskeletons has made it fun to go to work. If you look at the CareBot in the upper corner there, that's hospital technology that's been invented that helps nurses and doctors with a CareBot lifting. And by the way, most of the injuries in healthcare is due to lifting heavy patients. So this eliminates that problem. And what happens is now you've got nurses and doctors who can focus on the emotional side of care, on the health increasement of care, not so much on the physical labor of care. Huge improvement to that industry. If you look at the gentleman with the red robot on his side, that's a cobot. That also is a manufacturing example where he's in charge of a production line, but the cobot is acting as his executive assistant.
So it's actually like a walking, talking Google and Jeeves and Google Home all built into one. And what it does is allow him to have this person that he can just simply say, what about this and what about that? And he's got real-time data so that he can do his job at a higher level possible. All of these examples, nobody's been replaced by technology. They've been enhanced.
What are we doing? How is it changing the workplace? How is it changing the world? And we lose sight of the impact that we each individually make. The second is having our map and plan. What is it that we want to create? If we're going to be change leaders, what's our proactive checklist of what we're going to do when change comes upon us? What are we going to do to be ahead of the change? What's our plan? Because a learning culture sees every customer complaint as a gift. They don't see it as a hassle. They see it as the customer's telling us we need to innovate. Newsflash. And that's what a learning culture does. Share is where we want to go. That's where I personally, and if any of you are familiar with integral theory, Ken Wilber, he talks about we are moving as a world, as a planet, we are moving from me to we. And that's what share culture is. And that is already what you're on the leading edge with just by the nature of your business. But share, if your mindset is share, your attitude is, how can I share everything I know? How can I share every resource I have? How can I share every success that I've learned? How can I help the people around me succeed, shine, grow, be better than me? How can I help the client succeed, grow, exceed their wildest dreams? That's a shared culture mentality. And when we have that the majority of the time, you probably have experienced this, but it's like Neo in the Matrix. Literally things synergistically grow, expand, and build because collectively we're in a shared mindset.